This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Hey there, if something's not quite right with the lights, outlets, or switches in your home, it's time to call the Bird. Early Bird Electric handles everything from flickering lights to panel upgrades, fast, safe, and done right the first time. And right now, if they make the repair, your service call is free. That's right, no trip charge when the fix gets done. Just tell them Paul Allen from KFAN sent you. Don't wait. Visit callthebird.com or call 612-THE-BIRD today.
Fleck, glad to be with you. Gophers 1-0 in the Big Ten. We are on campus today. Next week, we will be back in the restaurant, Tipsy Steer in High Pine. So no natural crowd, although we do have a little built-in audience. Yeah, thank you. We got a few cheers in the background there. Mike Grimm with you, along with Justin Gard, our Gopher sideline guy. Good to see you.
Good to be back, man.
Yeah, the plush. I'm in the seat that Danny Collins made famous. Any comments?
No, I'm good.
Okay,
I think we'll just let that one slide.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
And a great defensive game plan. You're in Greg Harbaugh's seat, a great offensive game plan. And head coach PJ Fleck, overall pretty good to go 1-0 to start the Big Ten season.
Yeah, it's really good to go 1-0. You know, there's a lot of things we got to get better from, and a lot of things in the fundamentals and technique category. But I'm really proud of our players' fight and how hard they continue to compete, and especially being down 14-0, they showed a lot of resolve and a lot of courage to get back in that football game. And within 2 minutes, it was back tied 14-14. So a lot of things had to go right for us for that to happen, and we had to go earn it. But that just shows what type of team this is, and that's why they're fun to coach.
Drake Lindsay, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he's just so exciting, and he's so fun to coach. You know, I mean, I think we all forget sometimes when we watch him play that he is a redshirt freshman, and you know, he's only going to continue to develop, and it's not just he's just going to continue to get better. You got to earn the right to get better, but that's why I love coaching him, because he's so humble. He wants to continue to grow every single day. He comes in with the growth mindset every time he walks in this building, whether that's in the weight room, whether it's in the film room, whether it's talking to Coach Harbaugh and the offensive staff, whether that's his own private time on film. It's pretty amazing, and he's a great worker at practice. When your best players are your hardest workers, but also your best players are very young, and they're your hardest workers, that bodes well for the future. And I just love that, you know, he's really, really accurate. He's got a really good understanding of what we're doing. I think Coach Harbaugh and him have such a good relationship. And, you know, when you can throw the appropriate ball and shape the ball and put the ball where you need to put it 75% of the time, and you're going to win a lot of football games if you have to rely on the pass. But there was a time in that game where, like, we need to put it on 5 shoulders. You know, we're down 14-0, and we got to get moving. You know, two of the best players out with Darius and AJ, and we had to get change the game plan a little bit as we got into that. But he has shown a lot of progress, and the Big Ten Freshman of the Year is well earned, and now that's over and done with. We're back to 0-0.
Can you give people a sense of kind of all the stuff he's handling? Like watching that first drive of the third quarter, as you guys were just kind of going down the field and you mixed up the tempo a little bit. I'm watching, you know me, I don't know really what I'm watching. I still think, you know, the Ringo and the right, and you've already confused me there. But he's checking out of plays, he's checking into this, he's moving this guy over here. Oh, here comes the pressure. Okay, I'll throw it there. Like, it just, to me, I would encourage people to go back and just watch that drive, because that looked like a dude that just had full command of what he was trying to do. I'm sure there were mistakes in there, and I'm sure you went in there, but for a redshirt freshman to look that calm and poised to start the third, which was a big drive, I just can't say enough good things about it.
Well, he has a gift. You know, I mean, it's very difficult to do. One, the play calls are 20-plus syllables, right? And, you know, I don't even know any words with 20 syllables, you know, sentences. I don't even know how I can get that out. So he's a high processor. He's very intelligent. He can handle a lot. He's at the line of scrimmage. Sometimes there's run to run, run to pass. There's a pass to a run. He's got to be able to change the mic ID where we're actually moving, whether the run, changing the mic ID, or who we're making the mic and pass pro. He has the ability to change all of that at the line of scrimmage. We're shifting, we're motioning, and then there's a play to execute. And I think that's very difficult when you put all that together in 40 seconds. You know, and technically you're doing that in 25 seconds. By the time you get the play call, you get in the huddle, you're doing that in 25 seconds. If you come to our practice, we do it in 32 seconds, not 40. and it puts a lot more strain and pressure on him in practice. I think the game feels a little slower to him when he goes out there and plays. But he's handling an awful lot for as young as he is, but I think that's a credit to him. It's a credit to his development in high school, but also to Max Brosmer and Coach Harbaugh of what they were able to establish last year when we did switch our systems. And I think it looked really, really good. So we got a long way to go. I mean, he's fun to invest in, though. And when your players are really fun to invest in, it makes coaching a heck of a lot more fun.
Over the years, there's been some great drives of teams that you've coached here. I think back to that Georgia Southern drive in 2019. It was 3rd and 30 or whatever it was, and then 4th and 12. And you end up Tyler Johnson scores. There's the drive at Auburn to close the game. In the bowl game, we just talked about that Buffalo drive where you went 9+ minutes, all that.
The Nebraska drive.
No fans where Mo takes a knee.
A lot of cutouts.
Yeah, a lot of cutouts.
I was next to all the cutouts. There were a lot of cutouts.
Sold out cutout.
They were sold out. Yeah, a lot of them. A lot of snow on them, too.
But I think when I think back, that and again, maybe in the grand scheme of things, it'll get lost in the shuffle. But that was one of the better drives, I think, of your tenure, to see how that quarterback did that. All of a sudden, a quick passing game, finding the right guys, 3rd and 4. Okay, boom, we'll just get 7 and move the sticks. I just thought that was an incredible drive, probably the best drive of the season, I think, maybe. The Buffalo game obviously had that long one too, but
yeah, I like 10-minute drives. I think we had one of those this year. That was a lot of fun.
That was the Buffalo one, right?
Yep, in 4 minute, which you hit on. I think that when we talked at the beginning of the year, we talked about how good we feel Drake Lindsey is, and then you got to go out there and prove it in games. And he's only 4 games in, but when you look at it, it comes down to the supporting cast, and I thought our supporting cast really stepped up last week too. And especially with Darius and AJ out, 2 of your best players, and everybody's got to be able to fill that in and really step up their game, because I didn't think we did that at Cal. And I thought that our guys responded really well with Rutgers and started a little slow, but then when we got into it, I thought our guys really made a ton of plays. And it's not going to be just how Drake plays. It's going to be the O-line, the wideouts, the tight ends, the running backs, how complementary of the offense can we truly mesh and bring together. If we can do that, we have a chance to be a really good offense, which I think we've shown flashes of that throughout the year. But scoring 31 points against Rutgers, I mean, that's they're a defensive-minded team when you kind of peel back the onion and look at Greg Schiano and all that he's done. And they're always a hard out and a tough out. And we feel like we're the same way. And anybody could have won that game, but I thought our guys made one more play than they did.
When you decide to go up tempo there, take me back. Drake was totally, it looked like in a comfort zone. I mean, Guardsy mentioned he's doing this, he's tapping his helmet, all these hand signs. He just looked totally in his element. Was that a high school thing too? Did they run a no huddle? And do you think there's some truth to okay, he just got into this comfort zone? And how did you decide at halftime, we're going to do this, we're going to go up tempo, which I don't know, you've shown it a few times, but not a great deal, I guess, up to that point, right?
Yeah, we wanted to establish a rhythm. The game plan wasn't necessarily that. You've got to adapt you spend 70, 80 hours to come up with all these great ideas, and here's what we're going to do. Within 8 minutes of the game, you're like, fold it up, throw it over your shoulder, and you're like, all right, what else we got? It's amazing. And there's always plans upon contingency plans, right? And you have to be ready for that. But watching Drake in high school, he was in complete command and control of his offense. Drake didn't have a lot of 5 stars and 4 stars on his team. See, a lot of these quarterbacks that are coming out of high school, they have there's a huge supporting cast, and how good is that player? How good does he make everybody else around him? Or is everybody just that good? I think when you look at Drake, this is no disrespect, but he elevated the play of every single kid in his high school on that football team. I watched it live. I watched it in the state championship game. I watched it go back and forth, touchdown to touchdown, touchdown to touchdown, back and forth, the whole game. And he was in complete command and control of that offense. And everybody wanted to play better because they knew Drake had their back. And I felt that in this game with our guys. I think that showed the relationship and the partnership and the meshing of Coach Harbaugh and Drake thinking as one. That's not just Drake calling what he wants to call. That's a mesh of the coordinator and the QB. And I thought that's when it looked very, very fluid. And it takes a lot of work to get to that level, and to do that as a redshirt freshman. And you can compliment him. The good thing about him, you can compliment him. Some people don't like to compliment their players because they get an ego, and we all have egos, but he understands how he got here, and he's a very humble individual. He's an ultimate competitor, and he just wants to be the best he can be every day. And that's fun to have too, when one of your best players is the most humble guy on your team. And that bodes well for the entire team, and hopefully hopefully spreads to him.
Well, and you mentioned the leadership aspect of it, and this is something I remember you told Brosmer and you've told Drake that the quarterback position's a unique one, so you got to lead everybody. And he's led to the point that in the postgame, the star player on defense, Anthony Smith, is barking to Guardsy in the interview, talking about what a dog he is. And then he's such a leader, he's got his head coach barking to Guardsy in the postgame interview live on the radio.
It was a day I won't forget.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was a day I won't forget, for sure.
No barking today?
No barking today.
No
We
barking
moved
today.
on.
We're moving on. All right.
0-0.
The hunting was last week. There's a whole new theme I'm sure we'll learn about at some point.
But there is something to that. This guy, this young guy's got the old guys on offense and defense in Anthony Smith's case, and he's barking on the radio about it. Like literally barking.
Yeah, I mean, our whole locker room was barking. They were barking after the game. We were barking before the game in the locker room. They've been barking all week. The whole analogy was the hunting dog, right? And hunting dog's very courageous because if you've ever been hunting, which I'm not an avid hunter, but I've watched it.
We could tell as you were trying to get your way through the analogy.
About what you could actually shoot.
And I'm right there with you. Know nothing, so I'm like, yeah, sounds good.
I heard you did say pheasant, and then I forgot what else. Deer.
I think I said dog. I was like, wait. You don't shoot dogs.
You did find faking it just enough. The team obviously got the point.
Oh, listen, I can present it better than anybody. It doesn't mean that I'm going to wear it. I can present it, though. My father-in-law and I talk all the time, and he'll send me a big picture of a buck that's out back or something. And I'm like, hey, did you shoot it? He's like, PJ, you can't shoot it right now. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, my in-laws ask me when we have the deer and the turkeys in our yard, can you shoot it? Because where they're from, I guess you can. Yeah, I don't know. Can't do that in my neighborhood.
Well, I got neighbors I got a lot of turkeys in our neighborhood. Yep. And I see them all the time. And turkeys don't like to move out of the street.
And that's for sure. That's just your neighbors.
That's just our neighbors. Yeah. Let alone what's coming up.
So, let alone the animals in the
stay
backyard.
hot.
Anyway,
thank you.
The analogy was a hunting dogs in the cage in the back of the truck. As they start to get closer to the hunting, they start howling and they start barking as you get closer. And as you get to the back to let them out of the cage, they're really barking, and boom, they're courageous. They take off into the woods or wherever you're going hunting, and go find the birds, or go find the deer, or whatever it is. I don't know. I don't know if you use a dog just for pheasants and birds.
I think it's more birds.
Deer, you'd scare them off.
Yeah,
right?
the deer,
you want to be quiet.
You go up in the stand, you chill.
Yeah.
There are some other hunting dogs that their whole point is to tree animals, so that you get them up in a tree and then you can get them too.
All right, thank you, Ron Shera.
That would have been good to know last week. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, file that away. Make a note.
Anyway, we got to take a break.
Unfortunately.
Do you want to bark, Guardy?
No, I'm good.
On the way out?
Yeah, we're good. We've moved on.
On we go to a new theme. Gophers get a win 31-28 over Rutgers. It's Ohio State this weekend, a road game. Homecoming the following weekend. We'll preview this weekend for sure. Hey, alumni-owned Sunbelt Business Advisors, part of the True North family of companies, should be on your team roster if you are selling a business. Get your no-cost confidential business valuation today. Visit sunbeltminnesota.com. Stay with us. It's Gopher Football Weekly with PJ Fleck from Learfield.
Dear rocky roads, the 2025 Toyota Tacoma doesn't flinch. Rugged twists? Been there. Rutted turns? Done that. With tons of top tech and rock-solid resilience, Tacoma is tougher than any terrain. And when the dust settles, Tacoma's legendary resale value means confidence for the road ahead. Find your Tacoma at Toyota.com or visit your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places.
Golden Gopher football is celebrating homecoming with a stripe out. Join us on October 11th against Purdue and help stripe the bank. For tickets and more information, go to gophersports.com.
Are you looking for concert or sports tickets? As a local Minnesota company, Ticket King is a company you can trust. They have seats to fit every budget and even offer parking or tailgating passes, and all tickets are guaranteed. Each order is personally attended to by one of our dedicated customer service representatives who are committed to providing you with a courteous, professional, quick, convenient experience. Visit us at TicketKingOnline.com or call us directly at 612-341-4131.
Gopher fans, when you want to get around Gold Country safely, securely, and on time, call Carey Minneapolis St. Paul. Carey Limousines, a global leader in business travel, offering a world-class fleet and reservation staff who make sure you arrive on time, every time. The team's available 24/7, so give them a call whenever you're ready to travel. 612-623-0565 or visit the webpage, CareyMPLS.com. And go Gophers!
Know what happy is? Veggies. Crunchy, crispy, colorful, seasonal, aromatic, juicy veggies. Produce at its freshest. Cub Produce. Best produce, period. Guaranteed to make you happy or will replace it. No questions asked. Because good produce makes veggie lovers happy. Just remember, fresh, happy. Stale, limp, and wilted, not happy. You want to make a veggie lover happy? Shop Cub for produce and shop happy.
I'm Clay Geary, former wide receiver for the Minnesota Gophers.
And I'm Ben Utek, U of M alumni, Super Bowl champion, and Tony Dungy Uncommon Award winner.
We understand championship culture, which is why we are part of the True North family of companies.
True North invests in only elite teams, like the champion team at True North Mergers and Acquisitions, Minnesota's largest seller of companies. To learn more about True North and our diverse family of independently owned companies, visit thetruenorthfamily.com.
Gopher fans, check out the spot for Gopher Weekly with PJ Fleck. The Tipsy Steer in High Pines in Roseville is a great place to watch the games with a large outdoor space to eat, drink, and hang out with your friends. Check this place out. Locally owned refreshing beverages and food sourced from area farmers, serving on menu favorites like bacon lollipops and armadillo eggs. The sassy menu also features brick oven pizzas and acclaimed burgers. Tipsy Steer in High Pines in Roseville, County Road C in Snelling in Roseville, or online at tipsysteer.com. Go Gophers!
Visit the University of Minnesota Bookstore, your destination for the area's largest selection of U of M and Golden Gopher apparel, gifts, and novelties for fans of all ages. From the latest styles to timeless favorites, it's your one-stop shop for all things Gophers. And when you shop here, you're giving back because every purchase directly supports the University of Minnesota. Stop by our campus location or shop anytime online at bookstores.umn.edu. Go Gophers!
The game against Rutgers on September 27th recognized the 13th annual Celebrate Ag and Food Day at Huntington Bank Stadium. Both the game broadcast and the presentation inside the stadium celebrated the tireless efforts in the agriculture industry. The Gophers would like to thank the following participating sponsors: Ag Country Farm Credit, Minnesota Biofuels Association, Minnesota Corn Growers Association, Minnesota Pork Board, and the University of Minnesota's College of Food, Agricultural, and Natural Resource Sciences for their continued support.
Minnesota football returns to Huntington Bank Stadium for a homecoming stripeout on October 11th, hosting the Purdue Boilermakers. Choose your section and lock in your seats at gophersports.com.
No matter who you are or what you do, there's a Ford vehicle that can help you own the day. Make life on the go a walk in the park with the new Ford Explorer. Become the MVP of the work site with the unrivaled performance of a new built Ford Tough F-Series truck, the best-selling trucks in America. Or discover what it really means to adventure in the great outdoors with the new Bronco Sport. Whether it's for work or play, there's a Ford with a great deal waiting at your local Northland Ford dealers. Don't wait. Get behind the wheel of a new Ford today. Based on calendar year total sales.
It's time now for the AVR Remix on Gopher Football Weekly with PJ Fleck. AVR, a McNamara company. Quality and service delivered.
Play action. Back to throw Lindsey. Lobs one back of the end zone. Brockington has it. Touchdown. Lawmecki Brockington's first TD of the season catching the ball. He had one running earlier this year. And the Gophers are an extra point away from tying the game. Here's a quick hitting pass. High. It's caught at the 5. This is Smith leading forward. Touchdown. Minnesota Golden Gophers. Jalen Smith. His second touchdown of the season and his second big catch today. Lindsey on a straight drop. Waiting. Fires. It is caught at the 1. Reaching forward. Touchdown. Javon Tracy reaching with that left hand. His second receiving touchdown of the year. There it is, the AVR remix. Those are the 3 touchdown passes by the Big Ten freshman of the week, quarterback Drake Lindsey. 3 different receivers, had some big-time completions. Quick question on the last one. I have been to practice enough here, Coach, to know that you do have a rule about reaching near the goal line unless it's do or die. So was that do or die, or is that a coaching moment that even in that situation you do or do not want your guy reaching for the goal line?
Put it this way, we started our team meeting today with the clip from the Indianapolis Colts over the weekend, who lost by 7, who also had a touchdown turned into a touchback because somebody switched the ball. He was just trying to hold it out, and no point. Chin the ball, finish, and Indianapolis probably wins that game. So we started the team meeting with that. So if that says anything about it, then
I mean, you love the touchdown, but there are, as you mentioned, there are certain principles that you guys and pillars you stand on.
Yeah, the ball's a program. We have certain times where we will reach the ball, but that wouldn't be one of them. But I appreciate the competitiveness. I appreciate the ability to teach, and that the young player having the ability, Javon Tracy, to take accountability for it. Because we also had another one from Logan Loya, from the transfer from UCLA, and we had one earlier in the game. So we had to get that point across pretty quick. And I think we did that in the team meeting.
For people who aren't familiar, your rule is, because if you fumble, it's just kind of one of those bizarre rules. If you fumble near the goal line and it goes into the end zone and out of bounds, you lose possession. It's not like, hey, put it back at the 1 yard line. It's their ball at the 20.
You fumble into the end zone. It's a touchback, and the other team gets the ball. So it's
whether it's you're right, whether inbound or out of bounds, if it goes in there, you lose the ball.
Here's the quiz, Grimmer. When are you allowed to do it at the University of Minnesota?
Well, do or die is what I've always heard, so I don't know what
that's a generic term.
Like if I'm the teacher, you were the teacher.
It's got to be fourth down.
Fourth and what?
Whatever.
Fourth in line.
Whatever it takes.
Means you got to get the first down or the game's over. It could be third in line.
But at fourth down in the first quarter is not a situation you'd want that, or it is?
Nope. Fourth in line, fourth in game, or any down and distance in game, and 2-point plays. And then whenever I tell you can.
Because you are ultimately the boss.
Yeah, because sometimes I'm like, hey, listen, we need this. You reach the ball if you need to.
All right, so I got 2 of them. So I would get incomplete credit because I said fourth and goal or fourth and game, basically, is what I said.
You did pretty good.
Yeah,
not bad.
So I think you changed it in the last couple of years. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go back.
No, fourth and game.
You're going to go watch some practice film, Mark?
Fourth and line. Yeah,
whenever I say
exactly. Yeah,
now, the game can be second in game.
Right.
It could be just the last play of the game. Right. But that doesn't depend on the down and distance as much as just the game piece, and then the line piece, which you got to get the line or the game's over.
Meaning, like if you're not the goal line, but fourth and
let's say it's 4th and 6 in T2 in T4, we have no timeouts or 6 seconds left, and it's 6 yards, and you need to get 6.5.
Yeah.
You need to get that 6 yards, and if you have to reach, you better reach.
Right.
And if not, you can't do that. You got to pitch it back to somebody, or the game's over. So.
All those things that you work on that people don't realize that goes into hours and hours of prep for a game, as you mentioned. The long throw to Jalen Smith, really changed the whole complexion of the game, right? It's 14-0, could have been 17-0. You got the great field goal block early. And talk me through, if you can take us behind the curtain a little bit. It's 14-zip. You've now gotten the ball back. What goes into you and Greg Harbaugh saying, this is the time, let's make a big play here, let's go deep?
Well, you're definitely right, and in my head I am down 17-0, and so you got to take the game as it plays out, not just the scoreboard says, but how are you playing on defense, how are you playing on offense, how are you playing on special teams. So in my head we were down 17-0, we're inside our own 20, and we have to make something happen. Now the defense still has to be able to, you can't just throw a post into cover 2. You can throw your post in, but they're playing heavy quarters and stacking the box, and we weren't having a lot of success running the football. So it was a great throw. It was a great catch. I think, JG asked earlier about what makes Drake very different. And I think quarterbacks, I think they fit in 2 different categories. And I think there's quarterbacks who wait for somebody to be open and they throw it to the open guy, which is usually late. And that's the biggest transition for the NFL, and a lot of why NFL guys can't work. And guys that throw somebody open. And whether it was Lemeke Brockington's catch, he was thrown open. That was very covered. And he threw him open because there was nobody behind him. And he shaped the ball perfectly where only Lemeke could get it. I thought the same thing on the post. He was able to keep his stride, keep his speed. We haven't thrown posts in years and had a ton of success with them. And I think with Drake, he throws it so well and so clean, and he can throw people open, has a really good understanding of what it takes to be a good post thrower. And I think he has that type of ability to keep developing into a throw open type quarterback. And that's what NFL quarterbacks do, and they're really good ones. Nobody's open. He lets the ball go, and that ball is exactly where it needs to be when that receiver comes out of his break point and turns around, and that ball is right there where it needs to be. Not just there, just exactly where it needs to be. It's very difficult to do. So that was an example I thought of throwing open from Lemecki, and then also keeping the wide receiver on his line so he could catch and run.
Is that something then that as you were preparing as that drive, did you get on the headphones and say, hey, let's go deep? Or did he get on the headphones and say, Coach, you want to take a home run ball? Or how did that work? Or maybe you don't want to share how it all came?
No, there's no magic formula. And literally, I just said, we need to get moving.
Something needs to happen.
That's usually my line is, we need to get moving. And I think Greg knows what that means. It wasn't like we were waiting and like, hey, let's spot him 17 or 14 and just, let's give him a head start.
Yeah.
You know?
And then we'll release those hunting dogs.
Yeah, remember we used to race a kid? You're like, all right, I got a 5-foot head start here. You know, like, hold on a second. You're looking at body types and you're like, all right, you get 10 feet and I'll stand back here. We're going to race to that pole over there.
Sadly, the two of us know that very well. Yeah, Grim and I totally understand that.
So when you're down 14-0, which in my mind 17-0, you're inside your own 20. We got to get moving, and that explosive play really got us going. 2 minutes later, the game's tied because of the Kerry Brown interception and then Lemecki's catch. So 2 back-to-back big pass plays back-to-back really kind of got us moving.
Yeah. Do you have a more popular player internally than Lemecki Brockington?
No,
I feel like he's like beloved.
He is, because it's how hard he works and the sacrifices and the commitments he's made, the discipline to do all the right things and all the small things well. And he's also overcome an awful lot.
Right.
You know, from the injury standpoint, he's always had a positive attitude. You know, this is his opportunity to be, if you want to call it a number one receiver, then it's his opportunity to do that. And he has really captured it. Plays through all types of just bang ups and being hurt here and there. Fully committed, willing to do the dirty work, the blocking. He's a great blocker. He's really twitchy. I mean, a lot of people don't know he's an over 40-inch vertical guy.
Right.
He's close to a 12-foot broad jumper, and he's probably a low 4'4" guy. So you're talking.
And then he squats like he was on the freak
700 plus pounds, 750 pounds. I mean, this guy's an absolute freakazoid when it comes down to like numbers, and he's playing really well. And it's going to be very attractive, I think, for the next level if he can continue to stay consistent.
Yeah, and it was a good catch too. I mean, a great throw, as you said, but it's only the 50% of it, right? This guy, you got to have a guy on the other end, like
there's still
PJ Fleck or something to make that catch.
Don't do that. I mean, my vertical is like 12, but he put it in a spot where, remember, catch radius isn't just the length of your arms standing up. It's when you jump, it's the length of your arms. So that's a pretty big area, you know, and knowing where to put the ball in what situations. And he knew you put it high on the back line. And in that route, Lemecki did a good job getting behind the defense. And there was about 3 people in front of him. And the only thing was to drop it in a bucket. And he did a tremendous job of that and giving Lemecki room in the back to finish it too. And that's a pretty accurate throw.
He may have had another one on kind of the Elijah Spencer Maryland route. It looked like I think Drake's arm got hit a little bit and it shot way up. But Lemecki, same thing, right?
Yeah.
Worked across the back of the end zone. If he has just maybe a half second more, that's another touchdown.
It is, and he's not going to miss that one. That's for sure.
Yeah,
and he gets hit and still almost makes a really good throw blind, you know, by when he's getting hit. So, you know, that's the confidence we have in him is really high. But, you know, we're going to take one game at a time and one game plan at a time and do everything we can to execute at a high level against the Buckeyes.
If the coach in you says, what about your freshman quarterback? If you could pick 1 or 2 things you want to see the next step in him and his growth.
I think it's not, there's so much on his plate. And I think that the natural thing for him to keep developing is leading the entire team. You know, I think his play is going to do that and get everybody to believe in him that he'll get it done, because I think that only comes with proof. Trust comes down to time, consistency, but it always has to have proof on it over a long period of time. So I think that the leading the entire team, I think, is one of his next steps. And then I've always said, you know, quarterbacks, I think they get evaluated in a lot of different areas, but can you win the game in 2 minutes? Can you win it on third down? And can you work elite run game? And I think all 3 of those things he'll continue to get better at. And that, I think, is a natural progression for any elite quarterback, because you look at the NFL. I mean, can you go score before the half? Can you go score at the end of the game? They're all one possession games. Can you get them in the right run game? You see quarterbacks changing plays all the time, whether it's the Lions or the Vikings. I mean, they're getting them in the right run. And then can you keep the chains moving on third down? And we had a really good third down percentage. We're playing a team this week that only allows 20% on third down, which is number 1 in the country. So we're going to have to be really, really efficient. But those 3 categories, to me, really two are measurable. One's more internally measurable, but the other two, I mean, that's how quarterbacks win games. And I think he's got to continue to take those next steps in those areas.
All right, we'll take another break. We'll preview Ohio State Saturday night football. The fans in Columbus have been begging for a Big Ten night game, and PJ Fleck's team was chosen for that Big Ten night game this Saturday. So
we said we'll do it.
Yeah, you volunteered, right? No doubt about it. We'll take air at 4:30. It's a 6:30 pregame. We'll look ahead to that when we come back. We also want to invite you to visit the University of Minnesota bookstore for the area's largest selection of U of M and Golden Gopher apparel, gifts, and novelties for fans of all ages. From the latest styles to timeless favorites, it is your one-stop shop, and every purchase directly supports the University of Minnesota. Shop in-store or online, bookstores.umn.edu. We'll be back at the restaurant next week. Tipsy Steer in High Pines will give away our $25 gift card next week. Stay with us. Gopher Football Weekly with PJ Fleck from Learfield. Hey, Gopher fans, get your Chick-fil-A app ready during the next home game for Gopher football. One lucky fan will attempt a field goal in the Kickin' for Chicken Challenge. Regardless of the kick, all Gopher fans win. Open your Chick-fil-A app next week, 2 weeks from Monday, to redeem your free item. A week from Monday, that is. I had a nice free sandwich yesterday, thanks to the hero that kicked the field goal on Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did he miss the first one?
They must have given him a second
They gave
shot.
him a second chance, so it's like McAfee.
But the second one, Coach, you might have to have a tryout. He drilled that thing. It was about halfway up the
he's like 42 years old.
Yeah.
I don't think
maybe he's got eligibility. How do you know?
I'm pretty sure.
If he never enrolled.
The other
do we
point
know he's
is,
a college guy?
And now there's no rules.
Yeah,
I mean, you can just sue and say, I want to go to college, and you can,
He drilled
you can get it.
He drilled it. Good for him, and we all got free food yesterday, so nothing wrong with that. Coach, you mentioned Kerry Brown's interception as part of the game-changing play. Was that his best game as a Gopher, do you think? I know he's had some good ones.
I think it was just a very consistent, well-played game and a great response from the week before. He got banged up a little bit and, tried to fight through it. And, trying to fight through it wasn't doing us any good because we need a healthy Kerry Brown out there. And I thought he had a tremendous week of practice. And you could tell our entire defense wanted to respond. We played against one of the most efficient offenses in the entire country. They're very heavy dominated in seniors, and they got really good players, and they've been together a long time, and they're very efficient. So to find a way to score 3 more points than them was credit to our defense and credit to our offense and special teams. And, nothing's ever going to be perfect, but we live in this perfect, idealistic world, which, again, as a coach, nothing's ever going to be perfect or ideal. They're going to be real. There's going to be things that happen in a game, a missed field goal, a blocked field goal, a fumble, a punt that backs you up. I mean, there's going to be all these things that happen, and how you respond to that tells you everything about your team. And I thought our guys were resilient all game. The body language to responding to never thinking they're out of it, and they were poised the whole game. And I thought you could feel that. But I thought Kerry Brown played an amazing game. I think, even that last play where he knocks it away, it pops up, and Coy's right there. Yeah. Coy travels 2/3 of the field when the ball's in the air and almost makes a pick to end the game right there.
And speaking of that, Coy was, a lot of folks talking about his response, and you've been asked about it a lot. And I thought he acquitted himself pretty well in the response with the game he had Saturday.
Yeah, again, nobody's ever perfect or ideal. He lives in the real world, and listen, there's some games you're not going to play your best, and the whole thing, I just kept telling everybody, I don't know why everybody's worried. Just watch how he responds. I mean, he's Coy. I've never heard more of that's Coy. Like that phrase, that's Coy. Yeah. He never sure says that's Coy, because he's such a unique person and a competitor, but he works his tail end off. And I think all week he was a little quiet, and he was incredibly focused and ready to roll. And I think, I think he did a tremendous job of responding and playing the type of football that he can play, because he was very active and everywhere, which looked different than the week before.
That delay blitz sack was incredible.
Awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. I mean,
the way he accelerated.
We've had, over the years, the Gophers have had a lot of good safeties and a lot, the last guy to really do that was Winfield. Right?
Winfield was a tremendous blitzer.
Yeah, he was just a great blitzer, and it reminded me a little of him on that blitz.
It looked a little bit like it. Yeah. I haven't seen anybody blitz like that guy. That's why he's the highest paid DB or safety in the league or was, and there's a reason he is. But Coy looked as close to it as we've had by blitzing the quarterback on that. And I tell you what, he shot like a cannon.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy.
You said we got to get moving offensively. Defensively, the same applies, right? I mean, they go down the field, get a field goal blocked, a couple of touchdowns, but then you did get moving. You started to get pressure. You obviously got the turnover. So what was the switch there? I know it's not as simplistic as that, but the defense definitely did get moving there to get going.
If you look at Rutgers' past games, within the first 12 to 14 plays that they have scripted, they do it as good as anybody. I think that with Kirk Sherrock as the OC and Athan being together so long and being in that system so long, that for the first 12 to 14 plays are hard to stop. They know exactly what they're getting, exactly why they're calling it. If not, they're going to get into the right play. And I think they execute that better than anybody. We felt like if we could weather the first 2 drives, now there were 3 drives, but if we could weather the first 2 drives, we'd have a good beat on it. And then we could start shrinking the pocket, putting more pressure, applying more pressure, getting a feel of what they wanted to do, how they were going to attack us. And unfortunately, we weren't able to get a stop in the first 3 drives. But then once we did, I thought we got into a rhythm. Our guys got a lot of confidence and just kept responding one play after another and just kept hunting. Remember, if one scent goes dry, just pick up another scent. And they just kept going. I mean, they could have folded up the tents and left, and it could have been a really ugly game really quick. But that was I think you told me that, JG, that was in 30 years since we've been down that many points at home and came back. 30 years. I mean, that's a long time.
Yeah, Metrodome days.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to do no matter what team you're playing against or what team where you're home or away. It's really hard to do, and just really proud of our players' resolve. And it was good enough for that game. It's not going to be good enough as we keep moving forward. That's for sure.
41 minutes into the show, we have not, I don't think, mentioned Anthony Smith by name, a guy who seems to be playing at a fairly high level. We've obviously talked about Drake and Coy and Carey, but Anthony Smith, I think, is making the name for himself that we all kind of saw coming, or people around here saw coming just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he's playing at a really high level, and the great thing about it, he only just continues to keep getting better. I mean, his ceiling is so high. There is no ceiling with that young man, and he's just scratching the surface still. It's been fun when the NFL scouts come in and talk to about him. I always say it's been fun to watch him go from a basketball player in high school to this football player. And I said, just like Boye Mafe, just like Antoine Winfield Jr., just like all these players, when they get to the NFL, they're only going to continue to get better because there's still a ton of development that they can continue to grow into. We're not ever getting a finished product. So a lot of times the product we're getting might even have a higher ceiling than that 5-star finished product if you just invest in them. And that Anthony Smith's a great example of that. I think he's playing at a high level. I think there's still 5-6 gears to go. And that's scary to think about a man that big, that size, works that hard. He's relentless. He's still got a huge runway and a long runway where he can continue to get better. So I'm really excited for his future here and as he continues to go through his career, but he's a big part of what we do, that's for sure. And being able to get him moved around is critical.
You forced one takeaway, didn't give the ball away. A question as a coach, how you look at it in terms of, there were a couple of pass breakups where you guys got hands on the football it's great, right? It's not a completion, it's not a touchdown, but potential interception on a couple of them. So how do you, I don't know, is that a place that you say, hey, great play, you broke the pass up, but if you can make the pick, you make the pick, or how does a coach, do you talk to your guys about that?
Yeah, catch the ones they throw you.
Yeah.
If it's catchable, catch it. I mean, we drill it every day, whether it's during the program drills or 78% when we work on our true ball individual techniques. But I think that only comes with reps. That comes with experience. Had some young players out there.
And then some were tough. I mean, it wasn't going to be easy.
Yeah, I mean, Aiden Gooseby had one that was extended. And, we do a lot of like mat catches where DBs are diving for balls, but they're hitting the mat, so we don't run the risk of injury. But you'd like to see that him come down with that because he's capable of doing it. It's one thing to say, okay, you should have came down with an interception and the guy would have had to make an acrobatic circus catch and you count that as like he should have made that. The other ones that are like, hey, you're really athletic, you're capable of making that, we drill that, going to hold you accountable to make that play. And that's where I think our guys are always really hungry. You look back to Coy's interception last year where he steps in front of a defender. Was that UCLA, I think, maybe? And he makes an unbelievable catch.
Near the ground.
And it was unbelievable. Like, those are the things that change a game. It's not the routine plays. It's, can you make the hard play look easy? Can you make it look routine? Can you take advantage of the ones they actually throw you? And again, same thing, catch radius. So we work just as hard with our DBs than we do with our wide receivers on a lot of ball drills.
And I think Nestor had one in the end zone where he's going up against one of the better receivers in the country. So he gets the pass breakup. He had hands on it. That guy's trying to play defense. But with Nestor, he kept them pretty quiet. I mean, when you look at what they had been averaging, both those guys, Strong didn't have a typical Ian Strong day, and I think Nestor was responsible for much of that, right?
Well, they made it up in the run game.
Yeah, that's true. But some of that, I think you even mentioned to JG, some of that was by design. You're guarding the pass, so sometimes you might give up a gash.
Yeah, and the whole thing was how were they willing to stay with the run the entire game?
Right.
And we felt like we were going to be able to take advantage of some of the pass game. We were going to have to give up a little bit of the run game to take advantage of it in the pass game. And I thought, we didn't hold them to 0 yards passing either, but this is a team that's getting a ton of yards and being very, very efficient. We're talking one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the country within the system and his receivers when they do throw the ball. So it's not picking a poison because you'd like to have both of them. Mm-hmm. But we knew that we're going to have to give up a little run to help us in the pass game. And I thought that our guys took advantage of that and really had some sticky coverage. But Ethan also made a lot of really big time throws to put it in the only spot that it could have been in, because I did think we had really tight coverage on a lot of different passes.
Yeah, even the touchdown, right? Their first touchdown.
Second touchdown.
Three guys right there. But Gooseby had it covered as well as it could be covered. And DT Sheffield catches the back 4 inches of the football.
Right, he's very accurate. Yeah, on the sideline outs, the posts, the RPO knocks, which are post routes or deeper slants. Like, he's so accurate on all those things. And, I'm just, again, we were 1-0 when you talk about the ball. And we knew that would come down to that. And we were on the hunt for that ball all game, right? And we needed some more of those to make it a little bit bigger of a win. But in a Big Ten game and 1-possession game, and you look at the ball, okay, that team's usually the one that wins 1-0, and we ended up winning it.
All right, we'll talk Ohio State when we come back. We're with head coach PJ Fleck, Justin Guard. I'm Mike Grimm. Stay with us. It's Gopher Football Weekly with PJ Fleck from Learfield.
Dear Rocky Roads, the 2025 Toyota Tacoma doesn't flinch. Rugged twists? Been there. Rutted turns? Done that. With tons of top tech and rock-solid resilience, Tacoma is tougher than any terrain. And when the dust settles, Tacoma's legendary resale value means confidence for the road ahead. Find your Tacoma at Toyota.com or visit your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places.
The game against Rutgers on September 27th recognized the 13th annual Celebrate Ag and Food Day at Huntington Bank Stadium. Both the game broadcast and the presentation inside the stadium celebrated the tireless efforts in the agriculture industry. Gopher fans, we can all be proud of the continued efforts, results, and the talented people that work in these industries to provide a sustainable food supply with so many changing variables. The Gophers would like to thank the presenting sponsors of this event: CHS, Compeer Financial, Undeniably Dairy, and Beck's.
Spring cleaning is as easy as buy, fill, gone with a Bagster bag from Waste Management. Clear the clutter and ditch your debris. Bagster bags are the flexible option for big cleanups, and we mean flexible. The Bagster folds neatly when not in use, yet holds 3,000 pounds of waste and debris. Buy from a retailer today, fill it, and easily schedule pickup when your projects are complete. To learn more, visit thebagster.com.
You want the best for your child. So does M Health Fairview Masonic Children's Hospital. As the Twin Cities' longest-running, top-ranked children's hospital, many of the world's leading medical experts just happen to come with the most caring hearts. This combination of passion and expertise is why Masonic Children's Hospital was once again recognized as the Twin Cities' top-ranked children's hospital by U.S. News & World Report. Right off 94 near the West Bank of the University of Minnesota. Learn more at mhealthfairview.com.
With PJ Fleck on campus this week. Next week, the homecoming edition will be back at the Tipsy Steer in High Pines a week from today, noon until 1. So we look forward to seeing everybody in person again a week from today. We want to thank Dan Robotham, our on-site engineer. Good to see him again. Michael Tackett, our in-studio producer. Paul Rovnak with Gopher Communications. Garrett Chernoff and Chandler Bunning with us here helping us get the show going. All right, so it's number 1 Ohio State, a night game. They did have a night game, I think, against Ohio earlier this year, but I think this is like the first night game in 2 years of a Big Ten opponent.
Okay, thanks, Gene Smith, for the update.
So it's the night game. You're there. They've been, because they always get the big noon game, right? Fox always picks Ohio State, so the fans have complained for years they don't have enough night games. Here you go. Here's your chance.
Yep, there you go.
Prime time.
Yeah, we had the whiteout at Penn State.
Yeah.
We got the first night game at Ohio Stadium. It's great. So
you get to experience everything here at the University.
You really do.
Yeah.
It's a gift just keeps on giving. Listen, I've told our players, I said that, coming off last week, I said, here's what we have to do this week. I said, we've got to really clean up our fundamentals and techniques. We've got to execute at a really high level. Ohio State's really good. I think that's well documented. I mean, this might be Ryan Day's best team when you look statistically through 4 games. They're giving up only 5 points a game. That's why I said in my press conference just jokingly that 6 points for Washington was above average.
Yeah, they
it really is.
Yeah.
The average is 5 and you score 6. That's above the average. So, and they're dominating in every phase. But how you go in and win those games is you execute at a high level. You handle the crowd noise and you handle the environment really well. You don't let the circumstance dictate your behavior. And your guys go in there and they play really fundamentally sound. And you go in there and give it everything you have. We're looking at it still the same thing. Be 1-0 at the end of the Ohio State season, and happens all the time in college football. Happens all the time in the NFL. We just have to play really well, and we know that. But we don't have to play as Supermen. We just have to play our best football game up to this point. That's what it's going to take, and that's what's going to be required to beat one of the best teams, if not the best team in the country. And you're going to have to win the takeaway battle and the turnover battle, and you're going to have to win explosive plays, and you're going to have to win tackling. And they've got some really good players, and so do we. So we've had a really good day of practice today. We created an incredible environment. I don't know if you're able to duplicate it, but you can replicate it as best as possible. It was pretty hostile. I mean, you couldn't hear anybody a foot in front of you. So we're doing everything possible. Lights flashing constantly, and a lot of hang on Sloopy going on right now.
Anything else on Ohio State you want to talk about?
No, go ahead.
Well, because we have, I think, like 90 seconds or 2 minutes, but is there a lot of pressure on you with Mrs. Fleck's birthday today during the season, or are you at the point?
Yeah, she picked a hell of a week.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
I mean, Tuesday, back at practice, Ohio State, but like, is there pressure, or do you get all of that done in June with the Heather Palooza that goes on?
Heather Palooza, yeah.
That we hear about.
We get that done over the weekend in June of our Heather Palooza, but over the years, through marriage, you want to do all the right things, so it's turned into birthday month, September, and then it's birthday today. She actually missed her gift that was being delivered yesterday on Monday game plan day, so I hopefully got redelivered today.
Oh,
so yeah, but she's out to lunch right now with her friends, so she's doing great. This is great. It's tremendous.
Okay,
but happy birthday to her. She's 35 again and doing great, and just very thankful she's my wife. She's one of the only people I've ever met, and this is a true story she's never really ever made a decision that only benefits her. And that's how special she is. She is an unbelievable person with a huge heart, the Italian heart, and kind of that Irish twist to it with that little bit of,
It's a good mix.
It is a good mix, but she's literally the only person that thinks about others on every decision she makes before she makes that decision. There's not many people in the world like that, and I'm just really thankful she's my wife.
How, not to get too sappy on it, but how much do you and her try to set an example for your players, too, just in terms of, she's around the program a lot.
Yeah, we make out all the time in front of each other.
I see it in the locker room constantly. You know why it takes so long with Coach Fleck after the game? Got to give Heather a hug.
I just think it's important for our players to see healthy relationships. And, Heather and I both had to probably do it not very well at the first one to get the second one right. And, of course, you always want things to go well no matter what you do. But I think that, she's got a really good relationship with the people inside this building. And, you always want to be an example, whether it's a coach coach, whether it's a husband or a father. And again, I'm not their parent, but I am their coach. And Heather and I, Heather's as authentic as it gets. So there is no like acting with Heather. Heather's got something on her mind, you're going to know. Heather's having a tough day, you're going to know. If she's having a great day, you're going to know too. But I think that kind of goes along with the coaching piece.
She gave a great speech after the game, Grimmer, at Rutgers.
Yeah.
It was 4 words. I'm not going to tell you what the 4 words were.
Outstanding.
It was a great speech, and the team loved it.
I'm sure they did.
Roll the boat, guys.
Well, let's get a win this weekend in Columbus. 4:30 pregame, 6:30 is the kickoff. Gophers and Buckeyes. This has been Gopher Football Weekly with PJ Fleck from Learfield.
We ask parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
If you build a relationship, then it becomes easier. If you build trust, it becomes easier. As a parent, you want what's best for your child. To give them the love that a child needs. It's probably the best thing you can do for a teenager.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more.